All right, and with today's matchup of Cloud9 versus FlyQuest, with FlyQuest taking on the red side, first ban going over to Cloud9, and they're taking away Trundle, followed by a Varus from FlyQuest and Graves from Cloud9. Looks like Cloud9 favoring more jungle bans, targeting Santorin a little more heavily, trying to remove some of that roaming pressure, some of that power that FlyQuest can have with such a strong roaming presence in the jungle from Santorin. FlyQuest throwing out a ban of Syndra, throwing something against Niski, who has proven to be a pretty reliable player for Cloud9, having consistent performance across a bunch of champions, but Syndra being one that can have a lot of power in both AoE CCs with that QE stun, as well as just the burst potential that Wild Turtle or Power of Evil would then have to worry about. Cloud9 banning Callista, taking something away from Wild Turtle, spreading their bans a little bit out. FlyQuest then following up with Yuumi, banning that support away from Vulcan, kind of keeping them in a much more spread out bans, having one against Sven, one against Vulcan. Varus could also have been a Niski ban, seeing that Varus mid was something that happened occasionally. And it looks like we're going to see an Olaf from Cloud9, something that could go over to Blabber. More likely, I think, Blabber than Licorice, seeing that Olaf has shown some power in the jungle, but we haven't exactly seen him top lane in quite a while. FlyQuest looking to pick up Set, give Solo a strong champion pretty early on in their draft here, especially a pretty comfortable blind pick, Set being someone who can be played into pretty much all of the current matchups, top lane, Aatrox, Urgot, Ornn, any of those that he can perform perfectly well against. And that's going to be a Karma, which could go to Power of Evil or Ignar just as easily. We're going to see Aphelios locked in, which Aphelios and Nautilus, that's going to be a very aggressive lane. Going to have a lot of CC coming out of that Nautilus, kind of providing that buffer for Aphelios, on top of giving him the freedom to move, being that he has no innate movement abilities himself, kind of going to give him that freedom and that safety that he really needed from Vulcan, especially with the Yuumi banned away. They are going to be taking that away rather than from heals. It's going to be from a large amount of CC, but also becoming an engage source for Cloud9, using that dredge line to pull in either likely Power of Evil or Wild Turtle should he get the catch, or at the very least just try to start a fight by grabbing a carry, able to help Cloud9 catch somebody out of position. Round 2 of bans, we're getting FlyQuest targeting Licorice a little bit, taking away that Ornn, taking away that very safe team fight pick. Cloud9 taking away Azir from Power of Evil, a champion he has played before to great success, so a very strong ban. And the first of theirs against mid lane. That's going to be the first ban that they throw out now that Santorin has not actually locked in his pick, though, with the 2 champions already banned against him. Looks like that's going to be a Zoe taken away from Niski, so a second, possibly third ban from FlyQuest towards Niski, making sure that mid lane goes in their favor, or at the very least trying to, and that's going to be definitely a ban against Santorin. His Nidalee is a very strong and consistent pick FlyQuest have used before. Looks like they're going to take the Lee Sin on likely for Santorin, so that's going to be his pick, and it's going to give some good clear speed and a very consistent but reliable gank potential for FlyQuest. And then we're going to have, looks like possibly a LeBlanc for Niski, give him that burst potential, the ability to, especially when paired with that Nautilus, make some picks, and it looks like they are going to go ahead and go with that. FlyQuest still have yet to lock in either a mid or a support, depending on where they decide to put that Karma. Cloud9 still needing to pick up a champion for Licorice, could possibly be the Aatrox, give them some dueling potential, some lane safety, as well as something very easily gankable. And they're going for a Jace. They're going for a lot of damage that is going to be both ranged to kind of allow them to poke, play with the set, have a strong lane presence, maybe bully a little bit, push in the lane, and some possible early kill potential, depending on how safe Solo is playing, how much Santorin tries to play towards that top side. especially with an Olaf, if Solo pushes a little too far, there's a lot of slows and a lot of burst damage there that could very quickly lead to a kill for Licorice. And then we're going to see FlyQuest lock in the Corky mid, so they're going to have a lot of poke from FlyQuest. A bit of an interesting comp being that not a lot of these champions seem to want to engage as hard as Set does, so he's going to be a lot of setup, probably when paired with Santorin, try to kick somebody back, maybe throw them right back in, do a lot of damage in a quick succession there, keep the team grouped up to allow Power of Evil, Ignar, and Wild Turtle to follow up with a lot of poke damage, or maybe reverse that. Maybe they're going to try and play a very poke-heavy strategy with Solo and Santorin to follow up, engage, kind of finish that fight. Cloud9, on the other hand, seemed to have a pretty safe comp, a lot of pick potential, and it's going to be pretty reliant on both Niski doing some good burst, some good picks, as well as a lot of vision to allow to allow Vulcan to make sure that he's actually in position to get those picks, being that with Dredgeline, it's not like a blitz hook. You do have to be on the same side of the wall as whoever you're targeting, so they need to know where people are going, where people are, to allow for these picks to go safely. Because otherwise he could very easily find himself overextended, caught by Santorin or Solo, who can put out a lot of CC and make his life a lot harder. Now, and it looks like we are rolled into the rift here. We got a pretty standard spread along the map. No one really pushing for any engaging or deep wards just yet. It looks like they're just playing to their sides. Nothing fancy going on here. Looking down at runes, we got Wild Turtle taking Conqueror on Ezreal, which is an interesting choice. Looks like he's going to be playing more for extended engages rather than taking either like a Phase Rush or an Arcane Comet to go for more of that poke potential. And Sven, same thing, running that Conqueror. So both of them are more well equipped for these extended fights, as well as it looks like Licorice is running that Phase Rush. So Licorice may be looking to play a bit more aggressively, be able to get some of that poke in, get that damage in, and either follow up and keep Solo on his toes, making it harder for him to escape, or be able to back out should Santorin show, or should he want to just trade some damage, move on, win the trade, and repeat that. Looks like there's going to be a leashless pull for Blabber starting over on his blue. It's going to be a ping out there. Looks like FlyQuest is expecting him to be there, but with Solo helping out Santorin, he's going to make short work of that red and kind of move on there. Licorice starting to make some work up in the top lane, using that range advantage on Solo. Try to poke him a little bit, make sure he's winning the CS fight, make Solo lose as much CS as possible. And he's already starting to bully him, already starting to push that lane. Try to get that advantage in positioning without overextending too far. Meanwhile, Santorin's making quick work of the jungle. Already cleared his second buff, cleared several camps. It looks like he might be trying to get a quick level 3, look for a gank, especially with mid lane with Niski pushing in. But he knows that Santorin's going to be in that side of the jungle, places a ward in the river, going to allow him to stay safe there. And it looks like Niski looking to get some damage, but he's going to take a turret shot for that, make that trade actually lost as far as damage dealt. Running those minion dematerializers going to let him start to push this lane in a little bit harder than he otherwise would have been able to. Looking at the bot lane, it looks like Sven and Vulcan are both pushed in a little bit. Both the poke potential from Wild Turtle and Ignar proving to be a bit of a bully lane down here, as if Sven and Vulcan overextend too far beyond their minion line, they could very quickly take a lot of damage. Both Santorin and Blabber here. Looks like we're going to see a 3v3. And the engage from Cloud9, Blabber and Santorin looking to join in. Santorin lands the Q, Blabber falling back already. Same with Santorin. And it looks like that's going to be a pretty quick fight. No real harm done, but Ignar and Wild Turtle rotating up to contest Blabber at the Scuttle Crab, but now he is with the rest of his team. As Niski starts roaming down, Vulcan goes in, grabs the walls, Sven deals a lot of damage to Wild Turtle, Ignar hits the flower, and it looks like Santorin's going in. Teleport called down from Solo. He's coming to join in. 4 members of Cloud9. Solo, they're looking to grab first blood onto Blabber for Solo. But Solo's taking a lot of damage, going down quick. Sven landing damage on Wild Turtle. Solo taking a lot of damage, unable to get out, but looks like through heal. Oh, and he's going to go down. Licorice following shortly. Power of Evil jumping in. Now there's several members low. He's going to take down Vulcan, but he's chasing Niski. Sven and Niski running for the hills. Santorin and Ignar chasing. Sven has to flash that Q from Santorin, and Niski's going to get back to the safety of his turret. A 2 for 1 in FlyQuest's favor there. Solo pulling the trigger on that teleport much faster than Licorice, allowing for FlyQuest to even it back out to a 4v4 and allow them to walk away much more successful than Cloud9. Even though Cloud9 did get the Scuttle Crab down in that bottom river, I don't know if that was worth it. Now it looks like Licorice having the 1 kill to Solo's kill. They're about even in CS, a couple assists to Solo, so they're roughly even in gold. That's a cull on Licorice, so it looks like he's going to be looking to play the farm game. A cull on Sven as well on that Aphelios, so they're looking to try to scale a lot harder, play less for being lane bullies, which being that, especially down in that bot lane, Sven is 10 CS and 2 kills behind already, and it's not even 5 minutes. Licorice and Solo dueling, Licorice taking a turret shot, it looked like, and Solo and Licorice ending in a pretty even trade there. But not really the best trade for Licorice. He could have come out on top there had he not just overstepped just enough. And it might end up being a little bit of a problem for him, especially because Solo has a lot of potential in fighting him with those ninja tabbies, kind of preventing a good deal of his damage. And now it looks like Niski and Power of Evil duking it out. Niski's going to deal quite a bit of damage with a full combo, landing the chains. That's going to make Power of Evil's life a little harder. Sven pushing in the bot lane while Wild Turtle was away. Wild Turtle burning his teleport to get back to lane. Santorin in the mid lane, not anywhere nearby to really help, but the double buffs on Wild Turtle are going to allow him to very safely poke and use those abilities a lot more freely, allow him to stay very safe. Vulcan starting to roam a little bit, doesn't want to get too far away with not knowing where Santorin is and Blabber being nowhere to help. Power of Evil forced to recall his teleports down from that initial fight, so Niski has a little bit of control over the lane there, getting to kind of choose where he is freezing or pushing. It looks like he's choosing rather to freeze the lane, maybe reset it a bit, rather than try to push it hard into the turret, as he doesn't really have the damage to be able to outdo, or to do that fast enough, rather, that Power of Evil would not be able to come back and receive the wave as it crashed into his turret. And here in the bot lane, a lot of poke potential from Wild Turtle and Ignar that's just not really landing. Sven and Vulcan are playing very safe, utilizing those shields and the potions to be able to just play very safe and play for scaling, try to extend that laning phase a little bit and make sure that they get all they need. It looks like blue buff going over to Niski on Cloud9's side. That Scuttle Crab's going to respawn and Blabber's immediately on it, going for that top side control. Santorin over on his Raptors, just continuing to clear away, though he is 15 CS behind Blabber as far as jungle clears go, and Blabber's going to spot him, especially being 3/4 health. Blabber just steals that last Raptor just to send a message, throwing that axe in there. Niski just trying to continue to do damage, try to poke at Power of Evil, but he has to back off, knowing that Santorin is nearby and Blabber would be late to that party by just enough that it could be a problem. And there's the ult from Wild Turtle flying across, not really hitting anything. Seems like a very premature ult, not able to even really clear the waves. And it looks like Santorin's looking to make a play. Solo pulls in Licorice to Santorin, jumps to him. So there's the ult from Set Q from Santorin, and that's going to be an easy kill for FlyQuest onto Licorice as they pair the ults from Solo and the Q from Santorin to get both champions onto that target, keep him CC'd, and make that no issue at all. Niski looking to do some damage onto Power of Evil here, but really losing that trade, really taking a lot of damage in return for not doing much to Power of Evil. Blabber was waiting in the wings, but not much he could do when the fight was happening under the FlyQuest side turret. And it looks like he was looking to start that Rift Herald, but he was not able to, or just chose not to, rather, continue that fight. I'm sure FlyQuest having a ward in the pit, but as we saw some of those pings go out pretty quickly knowing he was there, but Cloud9 choosing with no mid pressure and top pressure just to kind of back off there. And seeing a replay of this, Licorice continuing to bully Solo, make sure that he can use that range top advantage, but Santorin comes up, stays just out of vision, and Solo steps forward right as Licorice goes to retreat. He pulls him in with the Skullcracker, leaps in with the ultimate, Santorin following up with the Q. Licorice turning to do some damage, but it's not anywhere near enough as he quickly falls to that combined damage, securing an easy kill for FlyQuest, giving Solo that lane priority. And now Cloud9, it looks like Vulcan is roaming up towards the Rift Herald. Cloud9 looking to make this an easy claim. Blabber taking that with no contest from Santorin, as in the mid lane, Ignar and Power of Evil are just continuing to slow push, just making sure he's getting all that CS rather than try to crash it into the tower, while Niski is not too far away, would still be able to just come back and intercept all of that experience and gold. Meanwhile, Licorice back in the top lane, right back to pushing Solo in. Solo staying on his side. Licorice has to step a little more forward than he wants to keep up with that lane. And with Dragon spawning in a little over 30 seconds, there's a lot of priority now towards that bot side. Cloud9 having taken the first Dragon. FlyQuest want to make sure they don't get a second. Santorin staying in that area. Power of Evil looking to head that way. Looks like he's going to get passed off the blue from Santorin. Licorice starting to roam, place some wards. Solo even pushing up that top lane. And now he's starting the recall. He's probably going to be heading towards the Dragon Pit, try to get that 5-man there to allow them the pressure that they need, although both him and Licorice do have teleport up, so he may just return to top lane, keep that teleport on the ready. Niski shoving in his lane hard, using his abilities on the minions rather than on poke, and Santorin and Ignar, they're going to catch Blabber. He's going to be exhausted and quickly followed in with Niski. They're going to pop Santorin. That's going to be a big issue now. FlyQuest not having Smite. They're going to follow up, get Ignar as well. Niski tries to jump back. Solo grabs him using Licorice to get the stun off of that Skullcracker. And he's going to end up getting Niski, but fall in the process. That's a dredge line from Vulcan. Catching Power of Evil is going to get followed up from Blabber and Licorice, securing that kill. They're going to take the Vision Ward, clear the area, and yeah, they're just going to go for Dragon, especially with having Santorin now back in base, unable to contest the Smite here. He's going to be going as fast as he can, but Blabber can solo this Dragon very quickly, especially with as his health gets lower, getting that increased lifesteal and attack speed. Vulcan and Sven just tower diving Wild Turtle. That stopwatch from Vulcan going to prevent a kill in return from the tower damage, and they're going to get that easy while Blabber takes that Dragon. So now that is a Cloud and an Ocean over to C9, and Power of Evil's teleporting in. They're looking to go for a 3v1, catch the long overstayed Cloud9. Blabber's going to fall for that one, and as Power of Evil and Santorin going on Sven, but the damage from Power of Evil, it looks like it's going to be enough, but no, the turret damage is not going to get anything from Santorin. Niski looking to get a kill in return here, not actually able to get anything thus far. Missing a couple of those key abilities that would have done what he needed to do. He's going to end up getting Power of Evil, and a teleport's coming in, this time from Wild Turtle. Then FlyQuest is not done. They don't want to let Niski get away here. Using that clone to block a couple abilities, though, he's going to walk up river and manage to get away. Still, though, that's a teleport burn from Wild Turtle. He got a kill for it, or he did not get a kill for it, so it ended up being just getting him back to lane, possibly pushing in, trying to get some plates off of that turret. He's going to get a couple CS. Him and Sven staying relatively even here. Only 1 kill advantage and 5 CS to Wild Turtle. And Niski jumping in on Ignar, making sure that there is pressure felt as Cloud9 is going for this mid lane turret. Using that Rift Herald, they're going to break it very quickly. Shatter 3 plates, almost down. They're going to let the Rift Herald just fall to turret damage and Power of Evil, leaving that turret with a little bit of health, but all of the plates from it claimed for Cloud9, pushing them to about a 1k gold lead at 13 minutes. And now, looking back down here, while Blabber is fighting this Drake, Sven just starts knocking on the turret. Vulcan coming in from behind, giving Wild Turtle nowhere to go. Starts with the auto, follows up with the dredge line, makes it impossible for Wild Turtle to actually get away, using that phase shift to try to get some distance, but with the roots and stuns from Nautilus, it's just not enough, and he falls quickly to Sven. And now, as they all start to fall away, Power of Evil just starts doing a lot of damage. Blabber turns and almost takes him down very quickly, but with the follow-up from Santorin and Ignar, it is not enough. Power of Evil manages to get away, and they drop Blabber. Sven falls really low, falling to Santorin and Power of Evil's follow-up damage. And Niski comes in here, seeing a lot of low targets, some easy kills here should he land the abilities, and almost pops Power of Evil immediately, but misses the chains that would have secured him that kill. Jumps in, throws a Q, ends up getting that kill anyway, and then the follow-up teleport from Wild Turtle as he lands the chains, ends up getting the root, and then uses this clone to block the Q from Santorin as well as one of the Qs from Ezreal, ends up preventing him from falling there. Vulcan and Sven now continuing to push in that bot lane, trying to knock on that turret. Blabber nearby, causing some pressure, allowing Ignar and Wild Turtle to not be able to contest this very easily. Santorin waiting in the wings as well. And up top, we have a slight advantage now, 20 CS going over to Licorice, who has completed his Yumu's Ghost Blade and is well on his way to a second item with that second serrated dirk, getting him a bunch more lethality, making his damage much more, giving him a much higher pressure in terms of the damage he does. Cloud9 increasing their gold lead to about 2,500 now at 15 minutes. A slow increase, but in the long game, I think they do have an advantage here with both the Aphelios and the Olaf starting to get big enough. Olaf that he can actually run at probably Wild Turtle, Power of Evil, and in spite of their dashes with his Unstoppable, be able to actually get to them and start doing a lot of damage. Licorice and Niski looking for this kill on Solo. Licorice stopping to fight the turret. Niski going in, almost going to drop Solo, but that shield from his W going to prevent the Ignite from taking him down. Licorice looking to get that Q, but Ignar standing in the way, making sure that doesn't happen, even though he takes a bunch of damage in return. Licorice now turning to go and start knocking on this turret some more, letting it kill these minions while he takes the rest on his own and continues to knock on the turret. He's going to just allow it to finish off the siege minion and then break the turret himself, continue to push that lane, and that is going to be the second turret of the game for Cloud9 now as they look to open up the map, taking this mid lane turret, and that would be the all three outer turrets from FlyQuest gone, but instead they're turning their attention to the second Rift Herald. You're going to claim it just a little after 16 minutes with no contest here, as Santorin is nowhere near to even try to contest Smite. There's no pressure in any lane to allow FlyQuest to push forward and make this even a difficult opportunity. Santorin following up a Q on Niski, but Niski's dash is taking him a little farther than he wanted to go, but the other members of Cloud9 are not near enough to follow up on that, and Infernal Drake is up, making Dragon Pit kind of the focus here. All members from both teams rotating down that way. No one's starting the dragon yet, but Vulcan gonna throw that Q out, end up hitting the wall and flashing an emote just for good measure, making sure that FlyQuest knows that he knows what he did. But he's going to end up going on Ignar, who's going to get blown up immediately with follow-up damage on Santorin, going to threaten to bring him low. And Blabber's just going to go ahead and start the dragon now that they are one person up. Santorin is low. The rest of Cloud9 making sure that FlyQuest cannot get in here easily. Solo's going to go in on Vulcan. He's going to use that ultimate, and he's going to end up having to use that shield. Blabber's going to go down. Santorin nearly following. Or sorry, not Blabber. Sven is going to go down. Blabber ending up taking the dragon anyway. That's going to be 2 kills on from FlyQuest to 3 on Cloud9. This is a pretty even fight. Dragon going over to Cloud9, but more kills going over to FlyQuest in return. They're not letting that dragon go for free, but in the end, the objective secured by Cloud9, I think that is going to make this a more worthwhile choice for Cloud9, as they now get that Infernal buff on top of the other 2 buffs that they already have. Licorice waiting here for Ignar, and he's going to go in. He's possibly going to get this kill. He's exhausted, but the damage is coming through. He's getting that root, and now there's a teleport follow-up. He uses the flash. The Blast Cone going to push Ignar away from Licorice, and this might actually end up in FlyQuest's favor. 2 teleports coming in. Yeah, they're going to take him down, and Ignar will live thanks to that Blast Cone and a well-done root. Well played by Ignar. Wild Turtle now just continuing to CS. He's fallen just a very slight bit behind, but he's ahead in kills. Gold about even between the 2 carries. The gold across the board is pretty even. Only a 2k gold lead for Cloud9's favor in spite of their much stronger objective control so far this game. A lot of it comes down to CS. With 30 CS lead in the mid lane for Power of Evil, he's making sure to get that change, but a 40 CS lead for Blabber over Santorin, and a 25 CS lead for Licorice over Sed. It looks like a large portion of Cloud9's gold lead is coming from CS. Power of Evil using that dash at the right time to make sure that Licorice cannot follow, but Blabber is right there to make sure that that kill goes through anyway, as he will fall very quickly to that damage. And now, looking back at that dragon fight, we have that first missed dredge line from Vulcan as he flashes his emote just to be sure. And now, as Ignar steps forward, he throws the second one, lands it, and the follow-up from Licorice's Q almost immediately kills Ignar with a quick follow-up from the rest of the team. That last 200 HP gone. Now, Blabber starts the dragon here, which might have been a little early, as there was still enough of FlyQuest's pressure here to make this fight a bit hairy. Niski takes a little bit of damage. Solo goes in for that ultimate onto Vulcan, and then steps forward, takes a lot of damage, but returns with that shield to deal a lot in return. Blabber goes in, ends up taking FlyQuest down, almost killing Santorin, who barely dodges that axe by a shield over the wall to Power of Evil. Power of Evil follows up, ends up taking down Blabber just a little too late to stop the dragon. Licorice almost follows up, kills him with his full combo, but a flash over the wall keeps Power of Evil alive. And now it looks like FlyQuest just recalling, resetting, buying some items, as Cloud9 has done a bit of the same. They're 4 turrets to none on FlyQuest, as FlyQuest hasn't really made too much headway in terms of securing the map or getting objectives. It looks like Solo might start knocking on this bot lane turret here. Going to do quite a bit of damage. Probably going to end up just taking this turret as Power of Evil's nearby to assist. That's going to be the first turret of the game to FlyQuest now, giving them a little bit of gold back. Going to be some Solo gold, possibly a little bit over to Power of Evil there. I don't know if he got in range in time. Licorice just continuing to push top, make sure that that is something that FlyQuest has to continually deal with, especially now that Baron is on the table. And with the next dragon being an Infernal, if Cloud9 takes it, they will get the Infernal Soul, which will be huge for them, and just upping all that damage potential, increasing Niski's burst potential, increasing their ability to get picks, increasing the poke damage, increasing the poke damage from Licorice, and just allowing their team comp to get a little bit more of an advantage in terms of the style they want to play. And with Vulcan here, he might end up spotting out Power of Evil, who is going to end up seeing the ward drop one of his own and fall back. But a lot of members of Cloud9 here, FlyQuest are a little spread out. Power of Evil over in that jungle here. Vulcan looking for the grab, but not going to go for it. Solo waiting in the wings. Niski's a little far away, down by the dragon pit in the river, not close enough that he could help out. Blabber going to end up taking that vision ward as poke is coming out from both sides. Blabber looking to throw the axe, deal some damage, but looks like, oh wow, and a big shock blast from Licorice going to take Ignar to a 3rd HP. Force FlyQuest back, as this dragon is only 35 seconds away. Looks like Cloud9 are just trying to force FlyQuest back as much as possible, as continued empowered shock blast from Licorice, just dealing a lot of damage, taking a quarter of Santorin's health, or even more on some of the squishier carries. Santorin's having a little bit of armor and health there to reduce that blow. But as a whole, Cloud9 has control over this pit. Ignar, again, taken down to less than a quarter HP, forcing Wild Turtle to, forcing Power of Evil to use the package to get out. Niski's going to deal a lot of damage to Solo, force out the shield, a big amount of damage onto Santorin. Sven is going to take him with the follow-up from that ultimate, as Vulcan, Blabber, and Niski follow up, taking down Solo with both their top laner and their jungler down. This should be a free, easy dragon, as FlyQuest is now forced to fall back. 2 members below a quarter HP. And it's almost going to be enough, but Wild Turtle did not quite get the timing on that as perfect as he needed to. That's going to be the 4th dragon and the Infernal Soul for Cloud9. And they're just going to roll straight to Baron with Santorin down for another 10 seconds, Solo for another 15. FlyQuest can't really contest this. Blabber's going to move forward. Niski is going to join in. It looks like FlyQuest is going to try, but they're going to have to be really careful here, because especially with Niski's burst potential, if they mistime this, then they'll just be able to be burst out. But Cloud9 not even looking for kills, just making sure to secure that Baron. And they have total objective control on this game so far, with 4 dragons to none, 4 turrets to 1, and 2 Rift Heralds and now a Baron. They've secured themselves a nice 6,000 gold lead now at this point, 23 minutes in, and they can just start really pushing. Now they're at 3 completed items on Licorice. nearly the Death's Dance completed on Blabber. Niski has 2 items, went opting for that safer Banshee's Veil in terms of, I'm assuming that's mainly for both the solo ultimate as well as just some of that high burst from Power of Evil. But with Power of Evil and Wild Turtle able to pop that shield so easily, I assume that the main focus of that Banshee's Veil is to make sure that solo cannot get a pick with the ult onto Niski very easily. Sven up to 75% crit chance with 2.5 items completed there and a little bit of lifesteal. He's going to be in a very high damage position, able to take these turrets down easily, especially with Baron buff now. They're just going to start pushing. Looks like Licorice making sure that top lane is pushed in, forcing Solo to have to come and answer that. Sven and Vulcan sitting on this siege minion, making it able to just continue to shoot at that tower. And then anytime the rest of the wave comes up, they're just going to knock on this turret. They're going to take it really quick. FlyQuest unable to really answer here, unable to step forward with the threat of Blabber and Vulcan able to just jump on them so quickly. Licorice just pushing in top lane. Niski pushing in mid lane. They're making sure that the entire map feels the pressure of this Baron buff here. Forcing Solo to stay top, forcing Power of Evil to stay mid. They're making sure that they're going to get all of these second tier turrets, and they're going to really make use of this Baron buff. And that's going to be it. That's going to be all the turrets now outside of the base. FlyQuest kind of losing ground very slowly but steadily here. Cloud9 up to an 8,000 gold lead almost. A big shock blast there, going to take Santorin to half HP. The continued Baron buff just knocking on this turret. Unable to kill that siege minion very easily. Just the continued Qs from Wild Turtle having to be enough as they finally take it down with that turret losing a third of its HP. Cloud9 just continuing to push. Niski making sure that mid lane is continuing to feel that pressure, forcing FlyQuest to kind of bounce between different turrets and make sure that they're choosing where to put their defense. But with the threat of Niski being able to blow up a single carry, or the rest of Cloud9 able to engage so easily, should FlyQuest end up sending an underman group, and they're going to engage. They're going to go in on a Solo who is not even able to use his shield until he's at nearly a quarter HP, but Cloud9 is going to take the turret while the beginning of that fight happens, ending up taking both the top and the mid lane turrets, as well as an inhibitor. They're going to take a huge amount from this, making this Baron buff immensely worth it. The pressure that they're able to use here as this runs out in the next 3 seconds, they just made the maximum use of that buff, making sure to get as much possible advantage as they could squeeze out of it. Elder Dragon up in 2.5 minutes, Baron up in nearly 3. The objectives are still a ways away, so Cloud9 can just clear the jungle, reset, buy items, spend all this gold that they just earned, while FlyQuest kind of has to play damage control. Try to sweep out some of these wards that have been left in their side of the jungle. You know, with 3 vision wards up top lane, make sure to keep top lane pushed out, because once the Elder Dragon spawns, having those super minions in the top lane creating that constant pressure is going to allow Cloud9 to have more pressure around that Elder Drake, because they're going to be able to let top lane push itself or send Licorice top, and with just a little bit of effort, just clearing a wave, maybe 2, he'll be able to really make sure that FlyQuest has to answer top lane, or they'll start knocking on those Nexus turrets. Cloud9 is sitting in a really good position here, nearly 10,000 gold now ahead, as they have just made sure that no matter where on the map they want to put pressure, they have the tools to do so. FlyQuest having gone in and really warded up the area, Cloud9 going in now and sweeping out as much of that as they can, trying to get some of that vision onto Elder Dragon removed, so that way they can more safely take the objective when it comes up in a little over a minute now. That spell shield from Niski saving him from the damage of Wild Turtle's ultimate, who Wild Turtle is now on 3 items completed. He's got that Iceborne Gauntlet, which will help him against Sven, but really not going to do much against Niski. The Death's Dance going to be kind of his big answer there, trying to heal and stave off some of that damage long enough that he can heal it. Licorice just continuing to try and poke, continuing to try to land damage. Big hits onto Ignar. Again, he's down to a third HP. Licorice just making Ignar's life hard this whole game, making it so that way in none of these fights has he been able to start with full HP. Licorice just hitting him time after time, and Niski going for a bit of a bold play there, jumping into almost 3 members of FlyQuest, dealing a third of Santorin's HP, trying to make that pressure felt, as Cloud9 is getting a lot of these forward wards, and a big shock blast takes Santorin to a third HP at a pretty good time for Cloud9 as Elder Drake's up in 10 seconds. They're going to be able to just rotate down and probably try to burst this as quickly as possible, which with Sven on 3 completed items and Blabber on 3 as well, they're going to be able to take this very quickly. Licorice is going to be, it looks like, continuing to just add to this damage, make this even faster. Yeah, that Elder Drake fell so quick, and Solo going forward, but he's not even going to be able to get the ult off. The shield just not keeping him alive at all, as their Cloud9 is just going to roll right through, taking the Scuttle Crab, moving into the mid lane, and Licorice moving forward, going to clear out. Oh, he's just going to walk right over that Vision Ward. He's not even going to stop, as they're looking to just move right into Baron. Solo's dead. FlyQuest down a man, down 11,000 gold. Licorice taking the red buff. Him and Vulcan playing bouncers here for the Baron buff, as it's just going to sweep over with that Ezreal ult. Not going to be near enough to take this, as Blabber, Vulcan, and Sven will make quick work of it. And this is a huge bit of time for Cloud9 here. 3 minutes on the Baron buff, just under 2 on the Elder Dragon. They're a really scary team. A 12,000 gold lead, as well as both buffs, are going to allow them to win pretty much any fight that FlyQuest do not have just a pick or a perfect engage. And so FlyQuest has to play incredibly defensively here. They're going to have to just try and play to clear waves, try and play to not let the team fight happen rather than try and win it, because I don't think they could win it should it break out. I don't think FlyQuest has the ability to win a fight against any member of Cloud9 right now in an even fight. I think every member of Cloud9 right now is outmatching their opponent, especially with both of those buffs. And now that Licorice has walked those minions in top lane right up to the turret, deals a big chunk of damage to Ignar again with an empowered Shock Blast. Niski and Blabber are just going to take that mid lane inhibitor to no real defense from FlyQuest as Solo teleports into the back. They're going to try and make a fight happen here, it looks like, but that might have been a mistake, that teleport, as Cloud9 is just running through the base. Solo hasn't even returned yet. Santorin trying to make something happen by following up with a Q, not able to do anything. Solo jumping in with the ult, but he's just going to get blown up by Cloud9 in return. The ult, Ragnarok coming in from Blabber as he's charging in. Ignar falls. Wild Turtle barely making it back to the fountain. Power of Evil doing the same. Cloud9 is just going to finish the game here. That's one Nexus turret fallen. Second Nexus turret is shortly behind. That one inhibitor is respawning, but it's way too late. Cloud9 just took this game. And that is a clean, easy finish from Cloud9, taking both of those buffs. Licorice just poking the team back, making sure that they have no ability to actually step in, no way to contest without just, I mean, at any point when a fight was about to break out, Licorice made sure that Santorin, Ignar, some of these people who had a lot of tools to help FlyQuest win these fights, they were never at full HP. In fact, regularly they were below half and either had to fall back or would die very quickly. Solo had some good ultimates, some good engages, but aside from almost turning the tide, they never really were enough. Cloud9 just finishing that game really cleanly, really smoothly, and just a great showing from them start to finish on that slow, just impending victory.